Hi, this is a movement flow for those days where you just want to move your body. Incorporate some balance as well as some movement for the upper and lower body, so shoulders and hips. And if you know you'd like to have some support for the balance part of the practice, you could place a chair at either end of your space or your mat, or be near enough to a wall at both ends to rest your hand on. As with any of these types of practices, please just remember that I am offering you suggestions, that you are free to change anything that I am showing or offering to better suit your own body. So always honor how your own body moves and feels with these practices. Change it in any way to suit you. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to be, this end, the mat will be moving backwards and then kind of back around again. And it's going to start with just a little chance to get used to the balance, and then as we go through the practice you can make some different choices in terms of what works best for you. So initially starting off with a comfortable stance might help to kind of shake things out a little bit first before we begin. Find a mountain pose that feels supportive in your legs, so the right amount of a hip distance for you. Let the arms drop down by the sides, and we'll take a breath here before we begin to move. So a deeper breath in through your nose. Sigh that out. So this little flow starts with a 2-foot balance pose. Going to start by turning your arms away from you, and then start to lift your heels off the floor, reaching your arms up and overhead, and then lower back down. So if you're using a chair, hands on the chair or wall, one hand or two onto the wall. Try that again. Externally rotate your arms, press into the toes, lift the heels, reach up, and then lower back down. Okay, so we'll start to add on to that. So from the beginning, arms turn out, lift your heels, reach up, and then this time as you lower your heels, bend your knees, palms together in front of you, sit back into a chair pose. Come back up to standing. So that's one option for the entire sequence. Lower your heels, lower into chair pose. We'll try that again. Arms come down by the sides, they turn out, lifting up, reaching up, and then palms come together, sit down into your chair pose, and back up to standing. So that's one option. And before I go any further, one thing to think of as you lift up into this balance is try not to compensate by leaning backwards, coming into a back bend as you lift. So really aiming to keep the ribs down, and imagine the sides of the body getting longer rather than the upper back moving backwards with that. So add on to that, you can do that variation each time we come into it. Lifting up, heels come down, sitting down into chair, or option number 3. Externally rotate your arms, reaching up as you lift, spine stays long, not leaning backwards. This time you could try, see what happens if you keep your heels lifted as you bend your knees, hands come down, and then heels come down. It's a little bit trickier, as you can see, for your balance, into chair pose, and back up to standing. If you want to try that one more time, you can. Stick with the option that's best for you. Turn your palms away, reach up, lift up, spine stays long, maybe bending the knees as the heels stay lifted, and then slowly place the heels down, sit into chair. Great. So now you have an idea of where this starts. We'll be starting from chair pose. So you can choose to come out of that balance, heels down, sit back into chair, or heels up, sit back into chair, and then lower. So right choices, that can change throughout your practice as well. So that's the beginning, and then we'll keep adding on to that. And we'll go through the whole flow from there. So one more time, shake out the arms, shake out the feet, find that comfortable stance in your body, that right amount of space between the feet that feels supportive for you. So, to begin, take a deeper breath in through your nose, sigh it out, let it go. Turn your palms away from you, and on an inhale, reach up, come all the way up. Your choice, heels down first, or heels stay lifted, and then lower into chair. From here, from your chair pose, you're going to pick up your left foot, step it back behind you into a lunge with the spine staying a little bit lengthened forward here. And we're going to add a twist. You're going to keep the pelvis relatively still and aim to turn the rib cage, arms, and shoulders to the right. So this is the second time. You turn and then look down. And then on the third turn, you're going to hold. You can keep your eyes the same direction as your hands, or if you want to, you can see how that might affect your balance. If you want to, you can turn, look down towards the floor, eyes and elbows going the opposite direction. Good. And then unwind, back to center. Place that back heel down onto the floor, and you're going to turn, coming into a high squat goddess kind of pose here. From here, reach your arms out and away from you, externally rotated, inner elbows and palms faced up. You can decide in your body if you want your feet a little closer together, a little further apart, and then maybe how low is correct for you to sit into this goddess pose. And then from here, reach your baby fingers a little further apart. Just notice how that feels at the shoulders, at the arms, and even into the fingertips. We're going to add a little bit of movement to that. So from there, we're going to internally and then externally rotate. So a couple of times internally and externally rotate the arms, keeping on with a little reach of the baby fingers away from each other in both of those shapes. You could keep that up, or you could see what happens if you internally rotate one arm and externally rotate the other. So you can play around with that. Good. And then bring both palms back up towards the ceiling. Palms of the hands come together to touch in front of you. You're going to turn that right heel in, turn towards your left leg. Lengthen your spine forward, and we'll come back into that twist on the opposite side. So turning your rib cage towards the left, rotating. Just notice how this feels on the second side compared to the first. On the third turn, stay in the twist. You can keep the eyes the same direction as your fingers, or if you want to add that little bit of balance challenge, you can turn your head the opposite direction. Notice this one side, balance easier than the other. Clear, this is easier for me on this side. Hold, and then unwind, back to center. Keep your left knee bending, step your right foot forward, back to chair pose. Come up to standing, shake that out. So we'll repeat that opposite side, stepping back first. So your choice with that balance lift. You can lower your heels and into chair, or keep the heels lifted and lower into chair. Turn your palms away from you, reach the arms up, ooh, as the heels lift, And then either heels down or hands together, keeping the heels lifted, lower down, lower your heels. Good. Pause in chair pose. Send the sit bones back behind you. Press the palms together. And then this time, step your right foot back towards the back of the mat into this high lunge with a long, lengthened forward spine. 3 twists. As you turn, can you really imagine that your pelvis is staying still and it's just the rib cage rotating towards the left? With that third one, pause, and then if you want to, head can turn one direction, sides of the waist, rib cage, arms, turning the opposite direction. Good. And then unwind, place the back heel down, come back to goddess pose. This time, we'll do a little variation for the hips. So you could keep the hands together in front of you, adjust the width of your feet, adjust the amount of bending into your knees that feels right for you. If you need to give the hips a little wiggle there, please feel free. So this time, we're going to pick up one heel at a time, right heel, and then left heel, and we'll keep that up. As you lift your heel, try not to bob the pelvis up and down, if at all possible. Aim to keep the pelvis level and steady. Good. One more. Each side, and then when that left heel lowers, palms of the hands come together. And turn that left leg in, turn towards the right, lengthen the spine. 3 more twists. So, turning, rib cage, arms, shoulders, head, neck to the right, but keep it active. So imagine all of the trunk muscles helping to turn the ribs. Pause on the third one. If you want to add that in, turn the head, opposite direction, eyes down towards the floor. Good. And then unwind. Step the back foot forward into chair pose. Push off the feet. Come up to stand. Shake that out. Good. So that's the sequence. We'll repeat it one more time. Each side, hopefully, get a little bit more heat each time you go. Modify, change any part of that to better suit your own body. So come back up to one end of your mat. Shake off the shoulders. Shake anything out that you might want to shake. Make the right choices for you for that first balance sequence. So when you're ready, take a deeper breath in through your nose. Add in that sigh. And then arms reach, heels lift, coming up into balance. And then either heels down or heels up. Sit back. Lower the heels if you haven't already. Right foot forward, left leg back into the lunge. 3 turns to the right. Keeping the pelvis still. Allowing the rib cage and upper body to turn. You can add head and neck, turning the opposite direction on that last one if you want. Unwind, bring the back heel down, turn for goddess pose. Reach the arms out, palms of the hands up, adjust the hips and knees as needed. Reach your baby fingers a little bit further apart here. Just sensing into how that feels across your inner armpits, inner arms, upper chest. And then you can add some internal and external rotation, moving the arms together, or what would happen if you move them in opposite directions. Choice. Good. And whichever you choose, one more in each direction. And then the palms come back together to touch in front of you. Now turn that right leg in, face the left, lengthen the spine forward. 3 turns off the rib cage. Pelvis staying steady. Ribs turning. On the last one, your choice. Stay as you are. Turn your head and neck opposite direction. And then unwind. Back foot steps forward into chair. Come all the way up to standing. Shake that off. Last one. From here, deeper breath in. Add the sigh. Reach the arms out and up. As high up onto the toes as you can. Choose your landing. Heels down or heels up as you lower into chair. Good. And then heels down if they're not there already. So left foot stays forward, right foot stays back. 3 lunge twists. Upper body turning, pelvis staying still. And then add the turn of the head and neck if you want to. Pause here. And then unwind. Back heel comes down. Turn back. You can wiggle out the hips a little bit. Back to goddess, rather. And readjust your stance. Whatever you need to do. Hands can go anywhere. And then right heel, left heel. You can keep that up. Alternating heels, or if you want to add one more little variation, you could lift both heels or not. See how ready the body is to do that, or not, or skip it. It's way harder to do when you're talking. I'm finding out as I go. Great. One more to each side, or one more lifting both, and then we'll turn towards the right. Left foot turns in, turn towards your right foot. Lengthen the spine forward. 3 more rotations. Rib cage, turning. Pelvis stays stable. And then on that third one, if you choose, head and neck can go the opposite direction. Pause and hold. And then unwind. Step the back foot forward into chair. Press off the feet. Come back up to standing. Relax the arms. Wiggle everything out. And that's it. So, a little movement sequence for you. It's a few different body parts there. It's a little bit of balance, so a little bit of brain food into the practice as well as body food. So thank you all, and hope you have a great day. Let me know what you think.